Hello everybody, I'm Thrash Maniac HD, and this is your WWE Battleground 2013 pay-per-view review. And before I get started, as you can tell, I'm not wearing a hat for this video because just got out of the shower, my hair is still screwed up, so yeah. But anyways, overall, Battleground, it wasn't a bad show. It was an alright show. But you did have a couple really good matches on here, but everything else was either just decent or just there. But let's get into the review then. The first match, the kickoff match between Dolph Ziggler and Damien Sandow. From what I saw, it was a good match. Dolph Ziggler ended up winning, like I predicted, and Sandow played off like he had a knee injury, so because he lost, he didn't want to cash in later in the show. But it is what it is. It was a good match, and for star ratings for the matches, they're in the description box. But now we get to the main show, and we start off the opening match, the Battleground Hardcore Rules World Heavyweight Title match, Alberto Del Rio versus Rob Van Dam. I thought this was a really good match. There was some good stuff in it, like good use of the chair and the ladders and stuff, but no tables. That sucked, but the match was a really good match. Del Rio ended up retaining the title, which it is what it is. I mean, RVD, he's not going to win a title until maybe the next time he comes back in the next 90 days or so. But it's whatever. But Del Rio won and retained the title. Star rating of the match is in the description box. Now we get to the random match of the show. Santino and Khali versus the Real Americans. This match was what it was. The only thing that made the match was seeing Cesaro do the Cesaro giant swing on Khali. That was impressive. But now he needs to top it. He needs to try to do it to the Big Show. And if he can do it to the Big Show, then Cesaro is definitely the pound-for-pound strongest man in WWE. So, but this match was what it was. Star rating in the description. Then we get to the Divas title match, AJ Lee versus Brie Bella. For a Divas match, yeah, it was alright. AJ Lee retained, thank God. So yeah, star rating of that match is in the description box. Now we get into the best match of the show, Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins of the Shield. This was a great tag match here. And it was awesome to see Goldust and Cody win and become officially back in the company, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was the family redemption story of the whole show. That's what made the show right there, was that match and them winning. That was really, really cool. And throughout the night, Brad Maddox, he was just like, it's not going well. Like, he called Triple H and Stephanie, he's like, the Rhodes just won, so things aren't going too well here. So, they were worried to death about what was going to happen later in the show, but yeah. Now we move on to the Intercontinental title match. I might have got it mixed up in the lineup, but whatever. But the Intercontinental title match, Curtis Axel versus R-Truth. I mean, I like Curtis Axel, but WWE needs to give him better competition. I mean, R-Truth, really? Put him up against big name guys so that way he become more popular. I mean, I really like Curtis Axel, but they're not doing much with him with the IC title except putting him in matches against jobbers. They need to put him up against some big name stars, and that way it helps his popularity. But Curtis Axel retained, like I said, but this match was decent. Star rating in the description box. Now we move on to Kofi Kingston versus Bray Wyatt. Surprisingly, this was a good match. I'll say this was a good match. Bray Wyatt won, which was awesome, and he cuts that cool promo afterwards. So that was pretty cool to see him talk at the very end. So, but then again, this was surprisingly a good match. Star rating in the description. Then we get to CM Punk versus Ryback. This match was alright. I mean, sure as hell was better than their match at Hell in a Cell last year, but not as good as their TLC match from January. But this was a decent match. CM Punk ended up winning, which I was picking Ryback to win, but I was actually secretly rooting for Punk. But Punk ended up winning via low blow, and the referee didn't see. But this feud's not over between Punk and Heyman, and sure as hell not Punk Ryback. That's probably going to go on a little longer. But or if Paul Heyman brings in another Paul Heyman guy. I don't know. I mean, Paul Heyman said in NXT he's looking for a new Paul Heyman guy from NXT. Could be anybody. Who knows? But this match was decent. Star rating in the description box. Now we move on to the main event, the vacant WWE title match, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. I thought this match was really good. I mean, wasn't as good as their match at Night of Champions, but still a really good match. And it was an odd ending. It was Bryan had the yes lock on Orton, and then out comes Big Show, pulled the referee out, and ended up KOing freaking Bryan, and you could tell he was just like, I didn't want to do this, I didn't want to do this. And then Brad Maddox comes out and brings out Scott Armstrong, the referee who got fired for fast counting at Night of Champions. All of a sudden he showed up, and Orton had the pin on Bryan. Scott Armstrong, 1, 2, Big Show pulls him out, knocks him out, and then Orton's like, what are you doing, you son of a bitch? And then shoves Big Show, and then, straight knockout to Orton. And the pay-per-view ended with the crowd being happy with Big Show finally KOing Orton. And now what Big Show needs to do is freaking knock out Triple H, which it's bound to happen at some time, maybe tonight on Raw. Who knows? But the match between Orton and Bryan was really good, but still no new WWE champion, which actually with how the match ended, it makes sense because they're going to have the blow-off match inside Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell, which that should be awesome right there. So it made sense that they had to do it like that because they'll determine the champion at Hell in a Cell to make the Hell in a Cell match mean a little more. And it's going to mean a lot more when the pay-per-view is no longer going to be around after this year. So thank God WWE made a right call by getting rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and letting Hell in a Cell be like it was before, where you don't know when there's going to be one. But again, Orton and Bryan was really good. Star rating in the description box. And that does it for my review for Battleground 2013. Overall, I mean, this is the worst pay-per-view of the year so far, but it wasn't terrible by any means. It was just an alright show. So there you go. But match of the night, in my opinion, was Shield versus Rhodes family. But once again, star ratings for the matches are in the description box for you guys to check them out and stuff like that. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.